Hey everyone, so I heard there's this thing called New Heli Day. I don't know if it's a real thing, but it's real for me because I've got a new heli today, so I guess let's take a look. So what I have here is the Blade Fusion 360 Smart. Alright, so I guess the first part will just be an unboxing, and then I'll actually do a first look at it. Alright, so let's get it out of the box then. Now this one opens from here. Nice box art, looks nice. All right, let's see, am I still in frame? Big box. So you get your manual right there, and you get some type of looks like registration or something. Take this off here, and here you go. And it's upside down. So it looks like you get the helicopter itself, a blade holder, a bunch of stuff. Looks like, if you can see this, it is double face tape, Velcro, more double face tape. It looks like vibration dampening double face tape here. Lots of zip ties, a little screwdriver, and a bunch of Allen keys. So that's what you get in your little parts bag. You don't get any spare parts, just saying. And you also have a pretty nice looking canopy. All right, so that's pretty much the unboxing. There's not a whole lot in here. You don't get any batteries, or at least I didn't at the time of filming. So let's take this out. And the unboxing is generally over now. Put him here, get the box out of the way. All right, so now that we've got it all out of the box, let me just go over the helicopter real quickly and just give you my first impressions of it. Some of the good and bad things that I see about it. It's not perfect, but it's a good one. So this is, once again, the Blade Fusion 360 Smart. All right, so starting from the top, you get a fully metal head. So the grips, the centerpiece, the swash plate, the brackets that hold it all in place, everything is metal right there. So you definitely get some, let me zoom in a little bit. So you get some nice parts right there. That's the canopy in the way. So that's all metal. I believe the blades here, they are carbon fiber. The body of the helicopter is carbon fiber, which is something I really like. It makes the helicopter much stiffer, but also it makes it much easier to work on. A lot of times when you pull one of these plates because it's cracked, generally everything stays in place. All the brackets will stay in place. Whereas with the older designs, the older plastic clamshell designs, pretty much everything falls out of the helicopter when you take one of the cracked clamshells off to replace it. So you end up rebuilding the whole thing, whereas this one, it's a much quicker replacement. You get servos with what they say are advanced geometry. So, it's probably, I guess it improves some of the characteristics of the acrobatic flight. It's probably all beyond my flying ability, but I can tell you that it does make the helicopter a little harder to work on because some of these parts are now, they're not very accessible, like this servo horn here and that servo horn on the other side. So it can be kind of harder to work on this machine. Let me just give you an example real quick. Here is an older helicopter. Notice it has the plastic clamshell design, and I did crack it somewhere. If you want to take a look right here, I cracked it right here. You probably can't see this, but I just glued it back together because I was like, it's a small crack and it's right, it came down hard. That's all that happened. And it cracked right there, and you can't really see it. I just used some super glue to put it back together. Here's what I'm talking about, a more traditional servo design. Servos are just stacked. The servo horn is easily accessible there. And The other servo is very easily accessible there, and the other servo here is where you get to that. But it's not a advanced geometry. So, I mean, you know, there's good and there's bad. Another thing I don't like is that when you put the battery in here on this guy, you can easily rub and touch the motor, whereas the new one does not have that issue. So, just giving you an example of what the older designs looked like. So let's put this guy away. We'll go back to this one. So you see how if I put the battery on, most that happens is it smacks that servo. That's it, which is, there's no moving parts right there. So that's good. That's definitely an improvement. All right, so working my way down, you do get a one-way bearing on this one, so I can turn the blades without the motor spinning or the gear spinning at all. You get what they call helical, or basically helical style gearing, which makes the helicopter relatively quieter. Down here you have a satellite, which basically becomes the receiver for your flight controller here, and then you have your motor down here, which is actually a much faster motor than the original Blade Fusion 360, and the reason for that is this is a 3-cell helicopter, whereas the original Fusion 360 is a 6-cell. So they needed to put a faster motor in there to compensate for having less voltage going to it. So in the end, they both spin. They both pretty much spool up to about the same speed. It's just that more voltage makes you go faster, but they put a slower motor, whereas this one has less voltage, but it has a faster motor. So that's pretty much how they balanced it out. I kind of like the 3S version simply because I already have 3S batteries here and I don't have to buy 6S. Other than that, one downside is it comes with a 45 amp speed controller, smart speed controller, but it's a or ESC, whereas I believe the original one had a 60 amp. So it's a little bit of a downgrade, but it's smart. I don't know if that's probably going to do nothing for me, but I wish I still had the 60 amp. Then I could probably just change out the motor if I wanted to, and then I could go 6S. Other than that, you may have noticed I changed this connector. This is not the connector you get. This is the connector you get. It looks like this. It's a smart connector. And if you look, let me put this down for a sec. And if you look right in here, there's a little slash there, a little gap there. Inside there is a connector, and that's where the data comes from. So you have your power connectors, and there's a data connector there. So what I did was I made it, I adapted it to what I have here, right here, and then I gave it a bullet connector for the data port. And if I do get a smart battery, I use this adapter, and then I created myself a little bullet port right there. If you could see that, and I tucked it in so it's not in the way, and all that kind of stuff. So I can use smart batteries while still using the connectors I typically use. I use these XT60 connectors. I'm not really into the smart connectors. Okay, so working my way down, landing gear is different. The original one had carbon fiber landing gear. I've never been a fan of carbon fiber landing gear because when you land, it's real stiff and it doesn't cushion any hard landings like I had before. So I'm actually happy that they have, looks like nylon landing gear. I think that's better. Down here you have your satellite. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll zoom in for you. The only thing I really want to show about this is that with the satellite here, I think you can see that. With the satellite, you have a bind button in there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to focus for me. Okay, there we go. There is a bind button in there. You see the Spektrum logo there with the lines? That is your bind button. You press that logo and you don't need a bind plug or key or anything like that. You just press that and you can bind right up. Let's zoom out. Other than that, the boom on this one is much thicker than many of the previous helicopters. I'll show you right here. There you go. See how this boom's much thinner, and it has these stabilizers to keep it in place. Whereas this boom's much thicker, and there's no stabilizers. So let's turn this. Actually, we'll do it just like this. I'll hold it just like this. It's so big, I can't get it all in the frame. All right, so here's the tail, and it's pretty standard. One thing I don't like about it is this is where they cheaped out. They put a bunch of plastic parts back here. So the frame piece here, that's plastic. It used to be, I believe on the original 360, it was all metal, and everything was metal here. All the bits in here and the blade grips were all metal. I know you can buy them. If I were to buy the blade grips and all the bits in there, it costs about 60 bucks, and then it would go up to 100 if I bought this too. Now, this being plastic, I don't really see an issue with that. It's very hard plastic and it's stiff. I think that's fine, but I do know that these bits in here, there's a little bit of play in there. Usually the aluminum parts have better tolerances. So I may get the blade grips and the little lever here and the slider here too, get all that aluminum. It'll cost me an extra 60 bucks. I kind of wish they hadn't cheaped out on that. I really do think it's better having aluminum parts back there. Because generally aluminum parts are weighted better than plastic parts. So usually that will help reduce vibrations. But I guess that's my opinion. I did do it on this one to take a look. He has aluminum parts back there, and he had a tail issue, and the aluminum parts in the back helped me. I don't know, but I guess they're trying to lower the price or something like that. So on this one, the flight controller is if I can zoom in, can you see that? Yeah, it is a 6250HX, which seems to be one of their better flight controllers. So this is your flybarless unit, and it does a lot of the receiver functions, is manning all the channels and stuff, but the actual receiver itself is this satellite. That's what actually receives the radio frequencies. So you get a nice little strap here, which is pretty nice. Let me zoom out for you. That's about it. Like I said, I'm not using the smart batteries. Maybe I'll buy one, but I get these for cheaper. They're 2250 instead of 2200, and they're 70C instead of 65C, and they're a little cheaper, and they come with the connector I like. I got these at Heli Direct. The helicopter I bought at A-Main Hobbies. Just to show you the canopy real quick, that's what it looks like. It's actually quite nice, and this isn't a cheap plastic one. I can actually feel this is some type of fiberglass. It seems like some kind of fiberglass, and it looks like an actual, like it was actually airbrushed or whatever. It doesn't look like it's not just a bunch of stickers and stuff. Plastic with a bunch of stickers on it. So the canopy is quite nice. Manual is just the typical blade manual. So I don't know what else to say about it. This is my first look on it. I did fly it. It has pretty good tail authority. I mean, the tail authority is really nice out of the box. I was pretty surprised that it would have such good tail authority with all these plastic parts, but I gotta say it does handle quite well. I only put a few small flights on it, but it flew perfectly right out of the box. It didn't even balance the blades, nothing. No balancing, anything. I just took it out, set up the transmitter, took it out and flew it, and well, changed my connector. So that's about it. I don't know what else to say about this one. Servos are Metal Gear. Cases are partially metal, half plastic, and looking from top to bottom, that's about it. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I actually think it's going to be a pretty good helicopter. And I'll see about if I'm going to upgrade the tail parts at all. I don't know. Alright, so the next video should be a flight video, and I'll probably have more opinions on how much I like it then. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.